My best friend vanished after gaining new friends, leaving me alone while I faced my grandmother's terminal cancer. After months of dwindling connection, I'm torn between protecting myself and supporting her. Is this the end of our friendship? I need an outside perspective on this entire situation, one that is not from a friend's viewpoint. I want input from someone who does not know me. If you are someone who knows me, please take everything you read here and keep it confidential. To provide some quick background information, I moved to the country I currently reside in about 3 years ago. I had to leave almost everything behind to come here to this Muslim country. I am originally from a Latino country, so the cultural changes were overwhelming, and the level of education here is significantly more advanced, like 1,000 times more sophisticated than in my home country, making it feel like I was attending university back home. As I mentioned, I moved to a new country and had no friends. The connection between my friends back home and me deteriorated. We barely communicate, and it is a miracle if we talk occasionally. Moreover, when I moved here, it was during the height of COVID-19, and I was also experiencing severe depression after just ending a relationship before coming to this country. At the school where I enrolled, I met my now best friend. When I say best friend, I mean she is the only person I consider my closest friend. I only have one best friend, everyone else falls into the categories of friend or close friend, but only one person holds the title of best friend. I've been best friends with her for about the same duration I have lived here. She and I are very close. She also considers me her best friend. We used to, I emphasize used to, talk every day, either in real life or online. Most days we were on call for hours. We went on outings with friends, and sometimes I would surprise her by visiting her house late at night, which is a significant deal since her parents are quite protective and have issues with her hanging out with boys unless there is at least one other girl. Hence, my being at her house is several steps beyond that. Interestingly, despite their protectiveness, they do not mind my visits because they know me. I have met her parents a few times, and her siblings also know me. Some of her sisters even get excited when I visit. My family is aware of her existence, and she even met my grandparents when they visited me in this country. We are so similar that some people, including ourselves, say we are just gender-bent versions of one another. To put it plainly and to clarify my feelings for her, I love this girl, not in a conventional way. I love her as a friend, as my best friend, as someone who has been there for her highs and lows. I love her platonically, but I also love her romantically, not in a lustful way, but in a more traditional, wholesome manner. Out of all the best friends I have had, she is the first one I have cared for this deeply, and I believe that is part of the reason I love her romantically. I have never had someone as amazing and perfect as a friend, to the point that I do not want to share her with anyone. Somehow, the best way to secure that is by being with her. I do not really know how to explain it, but yes, I genuinely like her a lot. I enjoy being her best friend. Even when she had a boyfriend for a few months, I still loved her as a friend and was genuinely happy for her during that time, although her boyfriend turned out to be not so great in the end. She's the only friend to whom I have given many gifts. I truly love this girl very much. I would even consider marrying her. However, as we both have acknowledged key point, both of us, we like being best friends, and I will be honest, I am content with that. Would I want her to be my girlfriend? Yes, but I also greatly enjoy being her best friend. However, it does not help that everything she looks for in a potential partner aligns perfectly with me to some extent. An important development occurred after I had to transfer schools. Everything remained consistent until she ended up moving back to her home country, which happened midway through my time at this new school. That was challenging, but we managed. We talked frequently, setting up a schedule to communicate due to the time zone differences. We kept this up until she eventually stopped responding. I would text her and she would not reply. That went on for almost a full month until she returned and explained that she had not been feeling well and had essentially isolated herself. For context, this was not the first time she had done something like this. Previously, she would only disappear for about a week when overwhelmed or stressed. She tends to withdraw and cut off everyone. The difference this time was that she had not even communicated with me at all during her absence. She had been overwhelmed with starting university and struggling to make new friends, so I understood why she disappeared. After a few months, she returned to the country and we met up again. I went to her house late at night with some McDonald's for us to eat outside. Those small hangouts with just the two of us will always be some of my favorite memories. Eventually, she returned to her home country to continue her studies and made new friends, but that is when things began to decline. After she started making new friends and reconnected with an old friend, her communication with me diminished drastically. She talked less and less online, and we had fewer calls. We played fewer games together because she spent more time with her new friends and the old friend. To be honest, I was happy for her, but it was disheartening that we spent less and less time together until we were barely communicating at all. Then a time came when I really needed her. I was extremely stressed and faced additional problems. It culminated in a massive breakdown and an anxiety attack, and she was not there for me like I had been there for her in the past. When she returned, it seemed like everything was old news. Eventually, my depression intensified, leading me to engage in some reckless behavior, and again, she was almost absent. However, this time when she came back, she asked me if I was all right. My foolish self, as I often do, lied to her and said I was fine. I did not want to burden her. She probed the issue once more, but after I insisted that I was okay, she trusted me to a certain extent. Mind you, when something is troubling me, I still leave some hints for my friends. I have also told her that if I am in a bad state, she should push me hard to make me open up because I struggle to ask for help. However, she did not push me. Time passed and she apologized for disappearing and not being there for me. I told her it was fine because I was being a bit unreasonable. When she returned to the country, I went all out with her goodbye gift, writing her a heartfelt letter filled with drawings, we are both artists, and creating a flower from plastic spoons with a green-dyed base so that when light shines through it, it appears green with white and black accents. Suffice to say, she appreciated it. I also gave her a ring during another hangout. She often wears rings, but I cannot deny that I had romantic thoughts while giving her that ring. So she returned to her home country, and once again we entered the third round of her disappearing. This time she was spending time with that old friend, who essentially used her as a therapist while harboring feelings for her. She confided in me that she had absolutely no feelings for him. Since she is a people pleaser, she would spend all her time with him despite knowing their friendship was toxic. During that time, she started talking and venting to me again, but it was short-lived. After finally breaking ties with him, she made another group of friends and lost contact with me again. From that point on, I completely lost her. We rarely spoke, and when we did, our conversations were short. However, just a few weeks ago, we started communicating more, which is when the reason for my post arises. Recently, I received news that my grandmother has cancer again, but this time it is terminal. She may have a maximum of 4 years left, but given the type of cancer she has, it could be less, and it is known to be painful. Suffice it to say, I broke down and I needed my best friend for emotional support. Since we had been talking again, I thought she would be there for me, but she was not. Fortunately, she returned about 2 days after I received the news, but that was when I noticed she was at her grandmother's house, having lost her only a year prior, and she was evidently struggling with that loss. I chose to hide my own issues and did not share my problems with her. She was unaware that I had been feeling unwell since about a week after I received the news, but I still hesitated to confide in her, even when she did push the issue. She only asked me if I was okay twice before disappearing again. After I managed to work through my emotions, when I noticed she had vanished again, it became apparent that she was spending time with her friends from over there. This is disappointing. I am genuinely happy for her that she has friends, but it has been almost a year now. 90% of that time has been me on the sidelines, while my best friend posts almost daily about her outings with her friends. To be straightforward, I am tired. I need a stable friendship, or at the very least, I need someone who will be there when it truly matters and to talk to me often, not every day, but at least frequently enough. I do not know what to do. I do not want to continue to be hurt and let down by my best friend, whom I love dearly. I know she does not do this intentionally, it is just her nature. However, even when she realizes how her actions affect me, she becomes anxious and is unsure how to restart the conversation with me, even though I have made my best efforts to convey to her that she does not need to worry about any of that with me. Yet, that does not seem to be enough. I love her, I love being her best friend. I adore that dazzling smile of hers that makes my heart flutter, but I cannot continue if I will be hurt and disappointed repeatedly. I do not want this to come to an end, but I do not know what else to do. I recognize that if I have another lengthy conversation with her like I have in the past, things might improve temporarily, but eventually she will slip back into her old habits. As far as I know, she has not truly experienced what it is like to lose a really good friend due to making mistakes. After such an experience, one learns to prioritize taking care of friends, the importance of staying in contact and ensuring they are okay. I feel like I might ultimately be that experience for her, but I do not want to be. However, based on the current situation, I might end up being just that. The worst part is that just yesterday, she vented her feelings in her social media story instead of discussing them with someone directly. I genuinely want to help her with things I know I can, but considering how I am feeling, I do not think I should offer that support, which feels unjust. I am contemplating ending our friendship, and it is troubling knowing this comes when she may need someone the most. I do not know, I am simply exhausted from getting hurt repeatedly. If you have made it this far, I genuinely appreciate your patience. I am uncertain about what to do and apologize for my ramblings. I struggle to articulate everything correctly. I have cried, felt angry, and experienced a mix of emotions regarding her, yet I still do not know what my next steps should be. Thank you for reading, I suppose. I apologize for my lengthy story. Goodbye. Story 2. Still trapped in a 5-year cycle of chaos at 21, my girlfriend exploded over a forgotten app. You're a liar, how could you rather hurt me? Ironically, she is the one who has physically attacked me before, yet I'm the one questioning my sanity. Is love worth this endless suffering? I have struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts since early middle school. My parents never expressed love for me, my numerous siblings bullied and ganged up on me relentlessly, and I discovered at a young age that all my friends could not stand me. This may sound conceited, but I have been truly blessed with an exceptional memory, intelligence, and athletic ability. It is important to note that I do not believe I am superior to anyone, as I had a significant advantage at birth that I ultimately squandered. Because of my natural gifts, I was quite good at anything I tried when I could still enjoy activities and put forth effort. Until I was about 12 or 13, I did not understand what bragging, one-upping, or jealousy were. At that point, it became swiftly clear to me that I was insufferable, although my best friend did punch me in the face first. Consequently, I began a nosedive into putting in as little effort as possible, contemplating suicide so my family might realize how terrible they were. Sad to say, the thought that has always pulled me back from the brink is the realization that they still probably would not recognize or accept how they treated me even if they read one of the many notes I wrote, and feeling as though every reaction or response I have to people is fabricated, so they do not think poorly of me. All of this to say, I was extremely sympathetic toward my girlfriend when she confided in me about her depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. I was experiencing many of the same feelings she was going through. I had forced myself to deal with my issues on my own, which was a poor decision. I did not want her to face these struggles alone, so despite how difficult things were, I stayed and told her that I loved her. She often expressed that she would kill herself if I left her or might even kill me. This was typical crazy girlfriend behavior that she likely would not act on, but the way she said it while sobbing made it seem like I was her last connection to the world. Initially, she was open to working on things and assured me that they would improve because I made her so happy. I take equal responsibility for things not improving. While she was, and is, a terrible girlfriend and I was, by almost all accounts, going above and beyond for her, I still did things I knew would hurt her and got caught, complicating the issues and making resolution more difficult. Here is a brief overview of some of the things that hurt her the most. 1. After about a month of dating, she discovered a girl I had been talking to 2 months prior during what my girlfriend referred to as the talking stage of dating and labeled me a cheater. Following this, she frequently checked my phone, becoming increasingly insecure and gradually blocking and unfollowing any girl she did not know or like. 2. I was supposed to spend 2 summers with her, but I ended up 3 hours away because that was where I could secure an internship. 3. She has found pornography on my phone several times. I know this is wrong, so I am not using this as a defense but rather as an explanation. I have been transparent about my pornography addiction from the beginning, we both were, but hers improved because of me, and I was upfront with her that she was not doing enough in bed. For several months, I have had restrictions on my phone, preventing me from accessing pornography, yet she still brings up that I watch porn or have cheated on her with pornography at least once every other day. She makes comments about me being unable to control my urges. 4. I often have to explain things to her and offer a lot of help. This causes her to constantly feel as though I am judging her or telling her what to do. I am not. I am simply trying to answer a question she asked or provide advice on something she claims to be struggling with. Rarely, if ever, have I come out of the blue and told her she should exercise more. I should also mention that if I simply listen, that is also a problem. I admit I sometimes answer certain questions sarcastically or condescendingly, but everyone does this, including her, when someone close to them asks a foolish question. This has led to some issues. If she asks an unwise question and I respond seriously while she meant it as a joke, she believes I think she is unintelligent. I think this context is enough to explain what happened last night and this morning. Along with the usual array of issues, 2, 3, 4, and more she was upset about yesterday, she noticed a notification from an artificial intelligence chatbot Discord server I had joined nearly a year ago to use their app for free. Admittedly, it was one that advertises sexual content, but one must pay extra for anything of that nature. Naturally, she assumed I was using it for personal gratification. I honestly wish that were the case. I was feeling extremely alone at that time and my suicidal thoughts had returned with intensity, so I was seeking any avenue to discuss my experiences or escape my reality. Trust me, I had an emotional breakdown in front of her regarding our relationship before I resorted to this. That breakdown culminated in my apologizing for how I felt and for concealing my feelings from her for years. The outcome of my breakdown left her feeling more insecure, believing I was unstable for being unhappy, suspecting that I was lying constantly, and demanding that I take the lead during sex because of various reasons attributable to my past actions. Practically everything worsened, so I was more interested in seeking a genuine AI girlfriend rather than paying to see a naked AI image accompanied by moaning sounds. I quickly found the entire situation unsettling, so I stopped using it, but I had accumulated so many servers on Discord that I never thought to remove it. I should note that the primary reason I ceased using it was that I began to compare her to those AI figures. That is, of course, highly unhealthy. Now that you have the context, after she saw the notification and looked at the Discord server, she woke me up. By that point, she was already crying and raised her voice a bit as she showed me what she had seen. Typically, at this moment, she would continue scrolling through my phone for hours searching for more information. However, this time, to my surprise, she handed it back to me and we began to discuss it. By discussing, I mean she yelled and interrogated me for a minute without allowing me to say anything substantial. She then started reaching for my phone again, claiming she would show me what she had just seen. I grabbed it before she could, prompting her to lunge for it, which resulted in her breaking 2 of her nails, and she began saying, "I can't believe you would rather hurt me than let me show you what I saw, and why can't you admit to anything?" At that point, I had already admitted to using the app and was trying to respond to her. It was clear she had not absorbed anything I had said, so when she lunged for the phone in my hands again, I wrestled it away from her as gently as possible but eventually let her have it. This was followed by more, "I can't believe you would hurt me," coming from the girl who has thrown numerous objects at my head, punched me in the face, and struck me on the top and back of my head over minor issues, such as trying to help her calm down when she was upset with her mother, and over more significant matters like my porn use. This is the same girl I have restrained several times as she began to panic and harm herself. After that incident, she barely listened to my explanation, which was simply that it was from long ago. Instead, she ranted until she forced me to sleep on the couch. I did not sleep. During that tirade, she misunderstood my statement. I am not on that server ever, as I have no idea what that is, despite my immediately correcting myself and being in the middle of an apology for using the bot. I was astounded today when she continued to call me a liar. I attempted to clarify what I had said again, and she yelled at me for being defensive, accusing me of trying to make her feel insane and of gaslighting her. She kept shouting at me in circles about my supposed dishonesty, asking why I preferred to hurt her rather than letting her look through my phone, and a few other issues. She repeatedly told me to leave her alone and claimed she did not have time for this, only to start the cycle of accusations again regardless of what I said or whether I left her alone. At one point, I managed to ask what she wanted from me and she screamed, "I want you to feel bad about it." I do not know about you, but I would consider the fact that I got no sleep last night and spent half my morning apologizing because she felt bad, resulting in only 4 hours of sleep for me, to be a significant indicator that I feel remorse over my actions. Reflecting on how I had let myself become a person who engaged with an AI girlfriend only intensified thoughts of how much better it would be if everything just ended for me. I contemplated this all night, so my response to her statement of wanting me to feel guilty was to yell that I hadn't slept at all last night. Is that feeling guilty enough? She did not respond meaningfully, and the cycle of accusations began again immediately after. It concluded with her yelling, "Why are you even still here if all you are going to do is lie?" and slamming the door on her way to work. I would greatly appreciate it if you read all of that and have anything to say or ask me. I will be keeping an eye out. Keep in mind though, while that was a lot of information, there are still some significant factors I did not mention regarding why we have remained together and persisted in trying after 5 years of fighting and known unhappiness. For me, my primary reason is that I cannot bear the thought of breaking up with her being the trigger that pushes her over the edge. I attempted once and her reaction was as expected. I could not follow through. Do you see any way we could even begin to address these issues, or at least prevent our one-sided screaming matches from occurring all the time? Should I leave as she suggested? It is safe to assume she would still be devastated if I were gone when she returned. She has told me to just leave several times but has never been serious about it. Edit, when I asked whether I should leave as she instructed, I did not convey what I wanted to ask clearly. I am more so wondering if I should simply be gone when she returns and cut off contact, or I would appreciate advice on the best way to approach the situation. I realize that leaving is the correct choice, but I want to find a way to do so that feels acceptable to me. Story 3. My boyfriend's new best friend is an emotional roller coaster. I've never felt so seen, he told her while I stood in the corner, crushed. After the drunken cuddle at the party, he snapped her, "I hope you're okay. Am I overreacting, or is this emotional cheating?" My boyfriend, 20 years old male, and I, 19 years old female, have been dating for a little over 2 years. We have had some issues arise in our relationship, but I have never experienced actual jealousy until now. Recently, I made a new female friend named Angela. It is important to note that she is a lesbian and has been in a relationship for about 1 month. After we became quite close, I decided to introduce her to my boyfriend. Immediately, they hit it off and honestly seem to get along even better than she and I do. They share a similar sense of humor, enjoy the same things, and jokingly tease each other constantly. Initially, I brushed this off and felt happy that they were connecting, but at this point, I am over it. It began with minor red flags, such as my boyfriend mentioning how intense and bossy she is, but it progressed into a type of emotional cheating. For instance, one night we were all having dinner together and he brought up his mental health issues. She immediately focused on him, maintaining unbroken eye contact and bombarded him with deep questions. She insisted that she completely understood him and everything he was saying. I thought it was nice and did not mind too much, but afterwards he continued to express that he has never felt so seen and validated by anyone. This hurt a bit, considering I am his girlfriend and have been through some heavy experiences with him. There have been several other similar instances where they are engaged in deep emotional conversations without even including me. The next occurrence was during a party. My boyfriend arrived about 30 minutes before it ended to pick me up and take me home. He ended up staying for a while and we were sitting on the couch together. Angela approached, plopped herself next to him, and they began chatting. I was not fully aware at the time because I was feeling a bit out of it, but throughout their conversation she was leaning on him and grabbing his bicep. I realized she was drunk, but I still think it was quite disrespectful on her part. He mentioned it the next day, saying it felt strange to be between two girls leaning on him. I asked, "So you liked it?" He somewhat laughed it off, but it was clear he enjoyed all the female attention. At another party this past weekend, my boyfriend and I arrived about 2 hours late. We walked in, and Angela and I chatted for a couple of minutes until she left me to talk to my boyfriend. I felt a bit upset but decided to ignore it and talk to one of my other female friends. From across the room I saw them laughing, and he appeared much happier than he looks when he is with me. I even noticed her playfully pushing him a few times and getting all up in his face. Later that night, my boyfriend and I were in a corner of the room while Angela was in the bathroom throwing up. He was concerned about her, and when she returned and sat on the couch, he went to sit next to her without even speaking to me. In that moment, I wanted to cry. Once again, I found myself staring at them from across the room, filled with jealousy and anger. Shortly after, he started to feel sick and had to go to the bathroom, so I accompanied him. While I was comforting him and giving him water, Angela barged into the bathroom, rushed to him, and started touching his back while demanding he throw up so he could feel better. Her brother intervened and removed her from the bathroom, but I was so fed up that I told my boyfriend we were leaving immediately. Without saying goodbye to her, we departed. The next day, my boyfriend mentioned, I do not know why, but after we left, I sent Angela this Snapchat. It was a picture of him that he had saved in chat with a message that said something like, "I do not know what happened, but I really hope you're okay and do not feel too sick." This was honestly the final straw for me because I simply do not understand why my boyfriend is so concerned about another woman's well-being. He seems to really enjoy her company and cares a great deal about her. I hope I do not sound crazy or possessive, but it genuinely hurts to see my boyfriend so intrigued and concerned about someone who is supposed to be my friend. They continue to send snaps and TikToks back and forth regularly, and I am unsure how to address this or bring it up with him. I am also uncertain if my feelings are valid and whether I should be so upset. Any advice would be appreciated.